This tragic story now being reported from Lincoln, Nebraska. Brook Berringer, Nebraska Cornhusker quarterback, is reported as killed today in a small plane crash outside Lincoln, Nebraska. According to local media reports, Berringer was one of two occupants in a small plane that crashed 3.5 hours ago in Raymond, Nebraska. According to the local sheriff's department, the two occupants of that plane were burned beyond recognition. Berringer on the field stepped in for the injured Tommy Frazier in the '94 season. He won 7 games as a starter for that #1 team. Last season, his senior campaign, he came off the bench and threw for 252 yards. Berringer had already graduated from Nebraska. Once again, Brook Berringer, Nebraska quarterback, reported killed today in a small plane crash in Raymond, Nebraska. Brook Berringer was 22 years of age. We will have more on this breaking story tonight at 11 Eastern on the next edition of SportsCenter.
Tonight, a tragic death of Brook Berringer. The Nebraska quarterback was killed when a two-seat plane he was piloting crashed in Raymond, Nebraska today. It crashed shortly after takeoff. Berringer was 22 years old. He had a pilot's license and often flew this 50-year-old plane, but just moments after takeoff, it reached a height of 250 feet and then began to drop and then slammed into the ground, bursting into flames. Later in the evening, upon hearing the news, we had this reaction from his coach, Nebraska's Tom Osborne.
I was very close to Brook personally. I spent a lot of time with him in meetings as a quarterback on the field, and we had a lot in common in terms of both of us like to hunt and fish, and we talked about that a lot. We both like to fly, and but he was just one of those guys that very hard to find anything bad that you could even think about him.
Berringer held a pilot's license. He was expected to be selected in this weekend's NFL draft. CNN Sports Tonight will continue in just a moment.
To the national title, he would have been a late-round choice in this weekend's NFL draft.
He loved life. He did what he wanted to do. He had a lot of enthusiasms, and he enjoyed every day. And so I'm sure he had no regrets.
On Thursday, quarterback Brook Berringer and the brother of his girlfriend were killed when the plane Berringer was piloting crashed. Friday, a somber mood hung over the Nebraska campus. Some fans left flowers. Tommy Frazier, who won the starting job back from Berringer, declined interviews. His agent said he is despondent. 2 scholarship funds have been established in Berringer's memory, while family members remain in shock. Berringer's impact reached far beyond the football field.
He made a lot of days. I mean, he can make a person stay by asking them how they were doing and taking his time to sign a kid's hat or his his autograph for him. And he's just being himself. And it's just sad that somebody like that, who's going to have such a positive influence on so many people, had to go, so quickly.
We were just in Brook's hometown, I guess last weekend, and we met his family and we saw where he grew up and saw how the community was really behind him and our team, and it's really sad when you are just starting to realize the backgrounds on a lot of these guys more away from football that something like this happens.
The University of Nebraska has canceled Friday's scheduled celebration of the team's back-to-back national championships. The money from ticket sales will be given to the Berringer family, who could choose a proper memorial. Berringer was scheduled to speak Thursday night at a Fellowship of Christian Athletes banquet in Lincoln. Instead, Coach Tom Osborne announced the terrible news to the group of more than 850 high school and college athletes. Said Osborne, if you had somebody that you wanted your son to be like, it would be Brook.
Brook's the kind of guy that would have wanted this program to go on tonight. He loved life. He did what he wanted to do.
I hurt for him. I hurt for his family, because it's going to be a tragic loss for everybody that knew Brook, because he was such a great person, And people said, you always hear people say how great a person is when they're gone, but people talked about how great he was when he was here,